Hello, my name is Will Dean. I am an author. I live here in a moose forest in Sweden, and we live pretty much off grid. We live a very quiet, simple life. But I'm a watch guy, I'm a watch nerd. Generally, I like tool watches because everything gets bashed up here, either by him or by some kind of tool. But today I want to talk about a dress watch. My only dress watch. I get to wear it like once a year. That is this Universal Genève pole router, which is a beautiful little old watch. And it's cost me about 300 bucks 5 or 6 years ago. An eBay find. It's like the least, hello big boy, it's like the least fancy variant of the Universal Genève pole routers. It does have the micro rotor though, it's not the bumper movement. It has the 218-2 micro rotor. My dad was a Seiko guy. He gave me a Seiko when I turned 18, when I graduated high school. My grandfather was a very simple guy. He grew all of his own food. And in a way, he was kind of my hero, and that's why I live a very quiet life here. The day he died, I was there with him, as were lots of other family members, and he had his I think it was a Timex quartz watch on his wrist. And the doctors took it off, and the next day I went in with my uncle to thank the doctors for everything they had done for him. And they gave us this watch, this old Timex, on a leather strap, and we gave it to my grandma, and she wore it for months and months and months. And he was a big silverback of a man, so it looked very strange on her dainty wrist, but also extremely poignant. There's something about like a steel bracelet with all the dinks and the scratches. It's a cliche, but it's true. They each tell a story. They each are linked to an event. But a leather strap that's been worn by somebody for a long time is even more of a visceral connection. It's the skin of that leather on my grandfather's skin whilst he was out growing his vegetables, and now on my grandmother's skin. But this pole router is a beautiful thing, and it links me as well to my Swedish life. You know, I'm a Brit. I was brought up in the rural Midlands of the UK, and now I live in the wilderness of Sweden. This is my writing shack. And the Universal Genève is intrinsically linked to Scandinavia because it was commissioned by Scandinavian Airlines, SAS, a design by Gerald Genter, no less, for their pilots to commemorate the first trans-Arctic flights. And so it has a degree of anti-magnetism. And he was 23 years old. Just let that sink in. Designing a watch like this at 23 years old. With this dial, with this movement, with these hands, with this asymmetrical date window. So this is the watch that I will pass down to my 6-year-old boy, who is also a bit of a watch geek already. We don't really see anybody here ever. We live very much alone and away from the rest of the world. So I want to say a big thank you to Hodinkee for making me feel like I'm part of a community. You know, I'm part of a book community, but I'm also part of the watch community. Especially in these strange times, that means a lot. And I'm very grateful to the whole team for making such efforts to find such fascinating stories. The stories are what unite all of us. They find the best stories, and they bring all of us, I think, a lot of joy, a lot of comfort right now. This has been Will Dean. Thank you very much.